Enterprise technology cycles used to be measured in years. Today, they are measured in weeks, and the compression is accelerating. Anthropic released previous Opus models with development gaps averaging 80 days. Then, just 42 days later, they shipped Opus 4.8. This rapid deployment wasn't a bloated update, but a highly targeted refinement of internal behavior. Earlier frontier models often produced confident but incorrect answers, forcing organizations to absorb the cost of invisible technical debt when errors went unnoticed. Opus 4.8 introduces a core engineering shift called epistemic humility. This means the system is calibrated to explicitly recognize the boundaries of its own competence. If it hits an uncertain parameter, it stops and flags the issue, rather than hallucinating a plausible guess. For IT leadership, managing risk at scale, an AI that catches its own bugs and asks for help carries far more operational value than one that simply charges ahead without self-verification. When an AI confidently writes flawed production code, the error embeds itself deep within enterprise infrastructure, fracturing the system from the inside out. This plot maps confidence against correctness. Older models show scattered red dots, high confidence in wrong answers. Opus 4.8 is 4 times less likely to ignore flaws, forming a tight blue cluster perfectly aligned with actual accuracy. This calibration allows for collaboration with a bounded agent that operates within verifiable limits. Erasing the expectation of an infallible oracle allows strict, risk-averse corporate environments to finally scale AI deployments safely. Calibration is only half the equation. The model must also execute complex engineering tasks. This chart illustrates the latest SW Bench Pro results, a benchmark testing the resolution of real-world GitHub issues. Opus 4.8 achieved 69.2%. That is a nearly 5-point jump over Opus 4.7 and a 10.6-point lead over GPT-5.5. To achieve these results, Anthropic introduced a new architecture inside Claude Code called dynamic workflows. Instead of processing sequentially, the main model acts as a planner node, dispatching parallel operations to distributed subagents. These subagents work concurrently, cross-referencing findings and rewriting code. They iterate repeatedly to a verified consensus, returning a consolidated answer. In practice, this means an organization can task the system with migrating hundreds of thousands of lines of legacy code to a modern stack, using the existing test suite as its quality bar. The system has matured from a simple code generator into a full-scale engineering management platform. To understand the scale of this utility, look at the high-density tech corridors of India, where engineers manage back-end infrastructure for the global economy. Global capability centers operate with zero margin for error. A massive database migration requires absolute precision. For a SaaS startup operating out of a hub like Cyber Towers, a 69% resolution rate combined with self-verification means automating thousands of hours of code-base refactoring without introducing critical bugs. The model isn't flawless across every domain. On Terminal Bench 2.1, GPT-5.5 retains a narrow lead at 78.2% versus Opus 4.8's 74.6%, though Anthropic has significantly closed that gap. However, Opus 4.8 sets a new record on OS World Verified, scoring 83.4% for agentic computer use. Agentic computer use allows the AI to take direct control of an operating system to execute complex research tasks exactly as a human would. This capability drove its GDP-Val-AA score to 1890, a metric measuring the quality of structured knowledge outputs, like research memos and strategic analyses. A daily workflow is emerging where human engineers set the high-level strategy and review the final outputs, while an orchestrated AI handles the exhaustive unit testing and documentation generation. Anthropic frames this architecture as collaboration. Maintaining human oversight remains a non-negotiable part of the loop. For India's massive workforce, this technology does not replace the engineer. It elevates the engineer to the role of a multi-agent orchestrator. Deploying a frontier AI model across tens of thousands of employees introduces an immediate and critical operational hurdle for the enterprise: unit economics. To address computing costs, Anthropic removed opaque adaptive thinking and introduced an explicit effort control system. This style illustrates the 5 explicit API settings. Developers can route tasks anywhere from a minimal token low setting to a massive compute-heavy max effort. A startup can process routine support queries on the cheapest setting while automatically escalating complex engineering problems to maximum compute. As shown in this matrix, Anthropic also restructured their fast mode tier. It now operates 2.5 times faster, dropping the cost to $10 per million input tokens. When combining that lower base rate with prompt caching and batch processing, organizations can realize up to 90% total cost savings on repetitive tasks. Furthermore, global availability through Amazon Bedrock includes regional data residency controls, satisfying strict Indian data localization laws. With these controls, enterprise AI functions as a highly adjustable, variable cost utility. These verifiable economics extend far beyond software engineering, striking directly at the core of India's highly regulated banking, financial services, and insurance sectors. Opus 4.8 achieved a 53.9% on the Finance Agent V2 benchmark, outperforming competitors in substantive financial reasoning. Its high citation precision allows banking institutions to automate the extraction of data from dense RBI compliance circulars and process thousands of loan applications with verifiable accuracy. Simultaneously, Opus 4.8 became the first model in history to break the 10% threshold on the strict all-pass standard of the legal agent benchmark. Utilizing its 1 million token context window, corporate legal teams can ingest massive volumes of Indian case law in a single prompt and draft contracts with self-checked accuracy. In sectors where a single hallucination triggers a regulatory crisis, verifiable reasoning is the only performance metric that actually matters. By integrating honesty, orchestration, and granular cost control, this model update addresses 3 specific friction points of large-scale deployment. These 3 pillars offer a more predictable framework for national-scale infrastructure. Anthropic has already promised that a new Mythos-class model will be released to all customers in the coming weeks. Mythos signals a hard pivot toward highly specialized, domain-specific AI, engineered specifically to defend and manage critical enterprise infrastructure. The era of evaluating AI based strictly on raw parameters and benchmark hype is rapidly receding in favor of verifiable, transparent utility. The ultimate power of Claude Opus 4.8 is its capacity to operate as a trusted partner. It proves that an AI's greatest feature is the intelligence to simply say, "I don't know." Enterprise